Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check brought to you by BB. There is no second best live YouTube stream to talk about markets. Welcome back, guys. I'm Tommy. You also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Max, Tucker, and Chef Jackus. We are going to have a great show in store for you all today. Really just once again pressing up on resistance. Will this be the fabled breakout that we've been waiting kind of all summer for? Or will this be, an extension of the summer doldrums, an extension of the sold range highs again award? We're going to talk about it on today's stream. Before we can get into that, though, guys, before I can talk about, crypto is really, I think, starting to show some signs of life. Obviously, the title points towards altcoins, I think, showing a little bit more strength here at range highs, a little bit more volume, a little bit more volatility. Looking at you, Solana. But before we can talk about that, guys, if you can hit the like button for us, I know that we're kind of undergoing like summer chop PA. There's not a lot of participation, but let's get a lot of participation on that like button today. Let's run it up. I don't want to look at soybeans. I want to be looking at all of the coins basically trading at resistance. And I'm sure we'll look at equities, which are just, floating higher kind of every day. It's really been like that. But just to kind of talk about price action and what we're seeing so far today. It's like I said, Bitcoin is really pressing up against range high once again. It's like, how much more can you compress before you have to make a decision? I kind of feel like we're at that point currently, right? You're either going to reject here and, God forbid, rotate back towards range lows, or you're going to break out now, maybe after a little bit more chop, and everything is getting ready to leg up. So I think it's kind of still just a waiting game, but we are once again seeing Bitcoin just, this is value area high for the last 6 or 7 months. So Bitcoin is either going to be breaking out, like I said, or potentially rotating lower. Obviously, we know where we want price to go. It's just a matter of getting kind of that last push to be able to actually break it out. At the same time here over the last day or so, we've seen a lot of strength out of Ethereum specifically. It only kind of makes sense that ETH is probably about to catch up to Bitcoin structurally. Once again, though, just a matter of timing and when do we actually expect to see these repricings. ETH has also just kind of been in a range for the last 2 months, but it's also pressing up against range highs. We had a New York open dump. I even don't think that Sol looks that bad either, even though I'm not necessarily expecting it to outperform. You want to be seeing all of these previous market leaders showing strength, Hyperliquid being another one, which I'm sure we'll talk about today as well. I'm just like looking at these market structures across the board, and it is truly decision time, guys. I don't think that we're going to have to sit up here for too much longer before we figure out what exactly this market wants to do here as far as trending for, I would say, the rest of the summer at this point, given that it's July 9th. I did not expect to still be in this range at this point, but hey, like I said, it is decision time. We're going to discuss it on today's episode. What are we thinking about the market today, guys? Are the summer crabs going to win? Are the range high sellers going to win? Or are we going to actually finally get our breakout here and potentially get some really lucrative July price action?
Breakout,
Jackus.
I would say one more sweep of the lows for Bitcoin at 75K, and then we'll probably be good. Just one more sweep, just one more sweep, guys.
Here's what it is, Max. We're gonna come down here, sweep this low, recover, and then sweep that low.
Yeah.
We better be sure to come back and sweep that low. So,
dude, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that low. Like you're one low ahead. That's why you get paid the big bucks, Tucker, because you're always one low ahead of the next guy.
Oh man. Yeah. No, I think ETH looks pretty solid here. Of course, we are yet again at range highs, but I'd say, this is really the level, like this little volume cluster here. Obviously, we're 2650 is a big level, but There's a little bit here at 2760, but besides that, that's really all we have. So technically still in a range. Still in a range. Lovely. But
Are you winning, son?
are you winning? Oh man.
I don't even know what to say about this, man. I've never seen this is like Chinese water torture, bro. This is like I don't know what they're waiting for to just launch this thing, but this tight little value area that ETH has been ping-ponging in for now damn near 2 months after 3 days of pumpage, and that's it. That ratio seems very off to me. Like 3 days of pump equals 60 days of ping pong. I'm like, could we at least like divvy that up a little bit where we get like 2 weeks of pump and then like 8 weeks of bullshit? You know what I mean? It just doesn't seem like the ratio is right. But we were talking about it at length this morning on the pre-market Discord call, where they can scam you locally as much as they want, but there's only so much they can do to really manipulate the higher time frame. And I look at this and it's really just a matter of time before this beach ball underwater for ETH really starts cooking here. You've got some solid fundamental catalysts, and we are just grinding back up into the range high. And usually, as Tommy always says, you don't fade the slow grind, ladies and gentlemen. Usually that ends up with you being poor. So this is a slow grind into a range high. Strong fundamental backdrop. Stocks look good. I think it's just a matter of time before they launch it. And ETH will do what ETH does. And ETH will likely, put in a 200-point 5-minute squeeze, and then we'll leave this range forever. So
we do have some lunar tailwinds with the moon. I think later tonight, or maybe tomorrow night. So maybe that can give it the push that it needs to finally break out. But yeah, I mean, I think Chinese water torture is probably the best way you could possibly describe it. At this point, they're really making everybody wait for the breakout here. Not just on Bitcoin, obviously, but especially with these betas, specifically ETH and Solana, some of these meme coins. But it also, at the end of the day, it comes down to BTC. So you're hoping, obviously, that we're not going to be replicating kind of the structure that we did last summer on Bitcoin, where we did kind of slow grind into the range highs. We didn't break out, and we just had another few months of awful chop and bleed price action. So I hope that doesn't happen, but we need to get a breakout here pretty soon, just given obviously the effort that Bitcoin's put in over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Should we talk about the vol compression that we're seeing right now in crypto and how it's at historic levels?
Yeah, what is that ticker? Is it BVOL?
BVOL 7-day.
Yeah, and I actually made a script
That
I can send you, but
you want to pull it up?
I mean, I guess, I'm just kind of depressed about this market, man. I don't know if I want to pull anything up. I'd rather just complain, honestly. I'd just weep and moan and complain until finally things get better. But yeah, look at that. All right, well, Jackus is working on this. First, we're going to talk about the Bollinger Band compression that we're seeing, and then we'll talk about actual Bitcoin historic volatility. This is the 3-day chart with Bollinger Bands over Bitcoin's price, and then down here, this line is the Bollinger Band width. So it's like when the Bollinger Bands squeeze, you will see this line trending down, right? So you can see, I'll show you an example. When they pinch like this, it usually means that a big move is coming. And you can see how tight we get right here. Again, right here. Again, we can go back down here, FTX lows. you know, we are at the same level, at least on the Bollinger Bands, as we were during the FTX collapse, during August of 2023, during October of 2023, we're actually lower. The only time in which we've been this squeezed on the 3-day Bollinger Band chart was actually springing off the FTX low. Now, there are some, of course, some other examples, like we could go back to, you know, 2 cycles ago. You can see we were pretty squeezed right here. You know, again, we had a bearish one here where, you know, we squeezed pretty good down to that purple line and then we nuked. So it's kind of a, you know, pick your direction type of thing. I think given how the structure of Bitcoin looks, this feels a lot more like the squeeze is going to be, you know, to the top side. But of course, that could always, you know, that could always end up differently. So let's actually look at Bitcoin historic volatility now. So we'll pull up Bitcoin volatility right here. So this is not Bollinger Bands. This is data provided by BitMEX. This is historical volatility of Bitcoin. I'll draw out the lows in which we are at right now. And you can see that there are really only a handful of instances where we have been below. I have this drawn at 330, 3.3. So down in this region right here, let me go to the weekly. There have only been a few times when we've really been this crabbed, right? I mean, this is unprecedented levels of volatility, right? So let's mark them out. We were below the purple line over here. 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 We are below the purple line over here. And now we are currently below the purple line, right? I also made this script in which we are going to be publishing here for all of our BB terminal members to use, which actually highlights and shades the chart and the candles to very easily map out and visualize when we get expansion, you know, vol expansion to the top side or downside, and also vol compression. Okay, so I can turn off the we'll just look at the compressions because that's what we're dealing with right now. So there have really only been, you know, a handful of times. I can't get my settings up, whatever. There have only been a handful of times when we've seen compressions like this. And here, I'll just move this chart up. So Bitcoin volatility down below, Bitcoin chart up top. And you can see when we've been this compressed, right? What has happened over here? October of 2018, price nuked. March 2019, we pumped hard. July 2020, we pumped super hard. FTX low, we pumped hard. July, August of 2023, we had a kind of a dump and then a pump, major pump. So again, it's one of those, like, there is certainly, like, there's always volatility following a compression like this. The big question is going to be, which way, Western man, right? Here's the data. So what we are seeing is egregious. What we're seeing is probably someone should be sent to Guantanamo Bay for. But the good news is that in the very, very near future, we should be squeezing very hard one way, right? It has never resulted in nothing happening, right? We typically don't range down here, you know, below 3.3 on Bitcoin vol, right? We will pick a direction and we will rip or we will dump, right? So we are at historic levels of volatility suppression, which just, you know, which sucks. But here's the chart for you guys. Here's the data. Here's what's happening. Here's why you are having no fun. Here's why you're seeing people crash out. here's why sentiment is terrible. It's because there's no volatility and nothing's happening, and everybody that's pretending to make all this money actually is not making any money. I promise you that, because there's no volatility, right? You're trading nothing. You're genuinely trading nothing. I mean, people might be scalping a little bit, but it's like there's nothing happening. And that's what this chart is showing you. So hopefully we pump hard from here, right? And this is one of those bullish squeezes. I just showed you guys before this. I showed you the Bollinger Band squeeze as well. So Bollinger Bands are squeezing. My custom script here, which will be on BB Terminal very shortly, highlights the Bitcoin volatility compressions. And yeah, are you winning, son?
Are you winning?
Nope, I'm not. I'm getting very annoyed and very bored.
Yeah.
But the good news is that's about to change soon, because look at this chart.
This is some of the worst price action I've ever seen in crypto. It's up there with, I think, the FTX bottom and the summer 2023 lows, or the fall 2023 lows. And I think that in itself is kind of indicative of where we could potentially be, about to trend pretty hard to the upside. But one thing I distinctly remember about those regimes is how much longer they went on than I expected, especially that 2022 one. I'm not equating it to that, but I just remember that period in particular. Like the second half of 2022 was just so horrible to trade. This has been bad. I like to scalp I like to scalp in spurts. I don't like to scalp for like a 2 to 3 month period when that's all I can do. Taking profit on these 2 or 3% moves and trying to extract that value from the market. It's just not a very enjoyable experience. I think anybody that's telling you that it is, it's like Max said, they're probably not being totally truthful. There have been some opportunities to take trades, but for the most part, I mean, like, we've just been compressing. If you'd like to trade a 5 to 10% range on a lot of these altcoins for weeks on end, then I guess go for it. That's not really why we get into crypto, though, at the end of the day. This cycle has been interesting, though, in the sense that, you can't really turn your brain off in the chop, because what tends to happen, I think it was Max that mentioned it at the beginning of the stream. Like, we pump for such short periods of time, and then we do absolutely nothing. So, if you're not just kind of locked in, or at the very least positioned for a move that's going to go higher, you're probably going to end up, trying to position through the price action that we've just seen here over the last few weeks. But hopefully that regime is changing, and we're about to see more meaningful volatility throughout the market. I will say, I think just kind of looking across the board at altcoins now trading at resistance, I mean, we're seeing more volume and volatility, which is typically not something I think that you see in chop. It's more so what you see from, I would say, potential expansion. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. But like, I was watching the SOL price action this morning. That doesn't really scream, okay, range high rejection. Sure, you've had some nasty lower time frame rejections on it, but you're getting good volume, you're getting good volatility, and those things are typically are things you kind of see towards the end of the chop, is that volatility expansion.
Should we count the days for these historical volatility compressions and see when we could maybe be coming to an end? Let's just do 3.1, I guess. All right, let's do 3.2. Include that little. All right. So over here, we're not going to count the little tiny one. Oh no, 22 days over here. Basically a week. Over here, funny enough, this was in July 2020. This one was 18 days. This one was 16, 17 days. And so far, we are on day 8. So it seems like we get between 8 and 22 days for your average bullshit chop compression before we start moving.
How many days?
The low side is 8. It took 8 days over here and 8 days over here. And then we've had 17, 18, and 22. So somewhere between, let's just say 8 days and 3 weeks. So 1 week and 3 weeks. So far, we're 1 week in, dude. If we have to go through another 2 weeks of this, oh, dude.
I think that's unlikely. But hey, I thought it was unlikely that we'd still be chopping for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and here we are.
Yeah, I think somewhere between now and maybe 10 days would be a sweet spot. But
yeah. Are you winning, son?
we should look at dominance and Dixie real quick.
You guys see my tweet about dominance yesterday?
No,
You called it officially.
Did you?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Just because, I mean, it's something that we've talked about on this show. It's like, well, Bitcoin dominance just looks exactly like ETH BTC. And I've been saying for a few weeks now, I think ETH BTC looks very bottomed. I think you can probably factor in a myriad of other different contexts if you really want to. But at the end of the day, like, rate cuts are going to be very, very bullish for altcoins, for ETH, for the type of market participants that tend to, transact with altcoins like VCs, right? Private equity. Yeah, I think those are the type of people that are going to probably ape alts the hardest, pump them the hardest. I mean, they were last cycle. Everybody wants to talk about retail, but VCs pumping their bags is really how we got the alt season that we did in 2021. With, obviously cheaper rates, they have more leverage to be able to borrow, to put, some of that low interest money into seed rounds to fund more infrastructure. Just what we need in crypto, more infrastructure, right? Not more participants. But that's neither here nor there. I also think the fact that you have Pompliano creating a Bitcoin treasury company anecdotally seems definitely like the type of thing that you would see towards the top of Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Looking at Bitcoin dominance here, I mean, you're just kind of chopping into like your last cycle's supply region, right? So I don't know. I mean, certainly patience on this chart is going to be rewarded, but it feels like this could be a good. Feels like this could be a good level, kind of like a little 3 drive into this wick, right? I don't know. You could maybe even try to play for something like this, right? View this as a range. If you get back down into this level, probably makes a run down quite a bit, right?
Yeah, it could distribute up there for a little bit, but because what do you want? You're on the daily.
Mm-hmm. Big level.
Big level. Mm-hmm.
I'd say you lose 64 and you probably start to see alts perk up in a pretty big way. I mean, ETH BTC couldn't really look much better than it does right here. So that's giving me some confidence that Bitcoin dominance rolls over a little bit. Like, this is a pretty clean little drop down and then reclaim, right? So like, let's contextualize it like this. weekly FVG. And then let's actually go back to the weekly. I mean, look at the weekly closes right here, opens and closes. Like this is a big weekly level right here. If we can close up here, I mean, you effectively drop down into this imbalance and then V recover above all these weekly highs here. You probably see the next week just like meat stick up at minimum into this weekly supply, right? That would be my thought. Just given how weird this looks, and like this is a big weekly level right here. So if you can stick the landing on this, it could be as soon as next week for ETH, just given how this looks. So
I can't tell still if EPT is going to take maybe a few more months to bottom out, or if it's getting ready to rip now. But I have to say, given the look of ETHUSD, I kind of feel like it's going to be sooner than later. I would also say Bitcoin dominance looks more bearish than ETH. Bitcoin looks bullish. So
I agree.
from a technical standpoint, I don't know. I think we're close to a big move on ETH, but timing is always a very important question. I will say I think the macro bottom is in on ETH BTC. If that's the case, it's really difficult for me to see Bitcoin dominance moving materially higher. I feel like you've had kind of all of the tailwinds for dominance to rip. I've never seen altcoin sentiment this bad. I mean, people can say like, yeah, but people are still allocated to altcoins. Like, yeah, people are allocated to altcoins that are down 80 to 90% already. At the same time, you have, I think, smugness from Bitcoin maxis hitting maybe the highest it's ever been this cycle. Like people genuinely think altcoins will never pump again. Meanwhile, in the background, you have all of these tailwinds kind of coming together. And this is a concept that we talked about before on the show. Just because everything doesn't materialize immediately doesn't mean that it's not coming down the pipe. I mean, the dollar breaking down started in April of 2020, and the alt season that crypto saw didn't begin, until almost like 7 to 8 months later. So these things take time. I know there's like a kind of a hesitation, or like I would just say hesitation, because a lot of the things that would traditionally be things that you'd look for at cycle tops are happening, right? Like an ETH treasury company, for example. Oh, ETH is getting some love. That surely has to be a top. But I mean, MicroStrategy and Bitcoin didn't begin, or Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, almost like accidentally blended those together. They didn't start buying Bitcoin until 12 and 18K. What happened to Bitcoin after that? I mean, if I can't use that context to then go ahead and justify like, okay, ETH is probably topping here, because that doesn't really make sense. Bitcoin appreciated another 10x after those first purchases.
this is what you were talking about here. So DXY is down below. You saw DXY start to really slide over here in May of 2020. And Bitcoin dominance didn't top until February, right? I know Jackus has done a ton of analysis on like DXY and ETH kind of trading like with a small lag, things like that. But I guess it's possible we could be doing something similar over here, where it's like DXY puts in a top here, and then maybe this is in fact our top, and we're just going to do something similar over here now. I guess the lag time for last cycle was DXY starts breaking down here, and it was like 200 plus days. I guess I would call this it. I guess we're only on day, 150, so it's a little different, right? But the pace of this drop is also quicker. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's certainly something to watch, right? Yeah, I mean, if this isn't a topping structure, then I don't know. in theory, like it kind of has the makeup to be one, right? And like let's look at RSI on it. I mean, oof, dude, just huge bear div. Like, that should be the top, man. Like, that is. Look at the 50. We're below the 50 now. Like that. In theory, like that's kind of what a top looks like. You print one of these bad boys, little bear div. Right at the top, break below the 50, should start to slide. But I have tried to call the top on Bitcoin dominance about 300 times this cycle, so I'm going to refrain from doing it again. But that looks a little concerning.
Honestly, I think this is pretty supportive of a breakout coming soon also, because if Bitcoin is rotating back to range lows again, altcoins are going to get destroyed, which means Bitcoin dominance probably goes to like 70% in that case. And I think you have all of these technical indications that it's about to come down. It's just been funny, right? Because Bitcoin dominance has been printing bear divs for a long time. I feel like on a lower time frame and just consistently been violating them. As somebody mentioned in the comments, I think this is a good point as well. Yeah, these Bitcoin adjacent vehicles have become very frothy, right? I mean, they're just kind of debt financing billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin buys, and Bitcoin hasn't gone up. I mean, it's a certain point you have to ask yourself, okay, the marginal buyer is going to require significantly less effort to be able to push these other assets rather than Bitcoin. And that's not to say that Bitcoin won't go up. I think it just means that it makes sense that we probably start to see a bit of a regime shift in this market towards a new narrative. Bitcoin's narrative, you could argue it's maybe mostly run its course for this cycle. Sure, there will be some other big ones, right? Like countries are going to start buying Bitcoin, debt financing Bitcoin purchases. But I'm beginning to question how much further that narrative can go. And again, at the same time, you have all of these tailwinds coming together for ETH. The tokenization of assets has just begun. ETH as a treasury reserve asset has just begun, and people are already trying to use that to call top on ETH. I think a little bit more patience is going to be required, for that thesis to play out.
I totally agree with you. And I look at this chart here. So others is down below, Bitcoin dominance is up top. This structure on others doesn't look like a bearish structure to me at all. There's nothing about this that looks right here that looks bearish to me. Like, I understand you're kind of chopping into resistance here, but contextually you're in this giant range here, range high, range low, and you're seeing Bitcoin dominance looking like it wants to drop soon, and you're seeing others, in my view, kind of looking like this range over here, before a huge markup where you had, range high, range low, mid-range, your 3 drive into the low. And it just feels a lot more similar to, like, I don't know, something like this. And I don't know if we need to do this bullshit or not. Doesn't really matter. We may already be doing it, right? Because, I mean, I don't know. It just, like, you're kind of back. You kind of went back. You already did like a 3 drive and now you're back. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is like, this looks like a bullish structure that's trying to form and break out here. Not something that's about to do this, in my view. Like, that doesn't feel super likely to me. It feels a lot more likely that this is going to go up. And if this is going to go up with Bitcoin dominance looking like this, we should get a ripper out of here. Hypothetically, of course. In theory.
Theory.
Are we gonna keep crabbing to the side?
Dude, I just want something to happen.
Nothing ever happens.
I'm so sick of the Chud Jacks, man. God.
It's not bear that's been winning. It's not bull that's been winning. It's been a crap. This chart
Alright.
literally going sideways for 1 year and a half. That's longer than a bear market. Think about that. That's longer than the 2022 bear market. This chart going to the side.
Who
It
else
looks
has a chart for me? Someone else cook a little bit. What else we got?
I got you, Max. I got you. It looks a little bit like.
I got you too, but I can't flip back.
Oh, hold on. We got to go to Jackus. Oh my god.
Silently working in the background.
Yeah.
That's a crab winning for 1 year and a half.
Oh my god.
Snip, snap. They are so cute when they fight.
Oh my god.
Everyone prays to the crab. Bear choked and bullhorns snapped. And the crab just came all over himself.
Yeah.
I can't believe that last one. Jesus.
I don't
What's
like this one.
Coinbase doing?
Continue crab. It says yes, but I would type N.
Jackus, give us a real chart.
Real chart.
Yeah.
What's not real about this chart, Tucker? The realest thing I've ever seen.
Here's the real chart.
That's the real chart right there.
Boom. Yeah. All right, leave it on. Leave it on.
It's literally the same price pretty much as you were 580 days ago.
That's insane.
Make it
Well,
stop.
I've been hitting 100R scalp
Fun
setups
yet?
this entire time, making billions. I'm not sure what you guys have been doing.
You know what? We don't need the price to go down or up. We need it to go back in time and just reverse the history, because this is criminal.
I've been saying electric chair for weeks now. Someone needs to study the electric chair. I don't know who's been doing this, but this market it's manipulated. This is inorganic price action. I demand justice.
I promise it's not me.
That's something that somebody who's guilty would say. Tommy. Tommy's got a $1 billion ask wall and a $1 billion bid wall on Hyperliquid, and he's just ping-ponging price. It's him.
It's him.
I've been
Also,
collecting
he can accumulate his AI dog.
for 2 years. For 2 years, I've done nothing but collect this bread.
You wouldn't get it.
Dude, Jackus, what is that picture in the upper right corner?
The Camor.
Yeah, what?
Did you not see that
Is
one,
that
man?
Randy from
The
South Park?
Kumar.
He creamed himself just all over from this range. Like, he won.
Oh,
He
dude, what
snapped,
happened to
snapped.
Shine?
Oh
All
my
right.
god. Well, what happened to Shine? Right here.
They're so cute when they fight. Okay, let's look at some TA now. What do you got, Jackus? What do you got for us?
This is the TA, man.
Well, this is
You're
hindsight
not to
analysis. That's the
understand.
problem. It's good, but it's hindsight analysis. Oh no. Oh. One more sweep of the high, then one more sweep of the low.
Well, I suppose we must flip this range to the upside, and then hopefully crab finally gets crabbed. You know?
I mean, I've been mentioning that, when I get so comfortable trading the crab, and what that basically means is just like shorting every illiquid altcoin squeeze. usually we're getting close to a trend. I've been kind of refraining from doing that as of late, given that tendency that I have. I just hope that it's not too soon to be doing that. No, I really like the idea that because Bitcoin dominance looks ready to come down, that we're probably about to see a breakout. Because again, like contextually, if Bitcoin were about to rotate back to range lows, you're getting ready to see Bitcoin dominance make probably another like 4 or 5% move higher. And I don't really think that makes sense anymore. Like, given the narratives that Bitcoin had against altcoins over the last few weeks, you would have thought Bitcoin dominance would be cascading higher, and it's not.
Yeah.
Well, as I've been saying, I just saw a video today from some guy from Czech, actually, who was celebrating by finally selling all his alts into Bitcoin and feeling insanely happy. And I get that feeling, but the first thing that came to my mind was Mr. Bogdanov.
He sold. Pump it.
He finally sold all his alts, flips the switch.
Jump market making coming back into the market as well. That's, to me, signal.
Is that crime?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that bullish crime?
Yes. And then very, very bearish. But
Yeah,
first,
fine,
very,
though.
very bullish.
No, we'll be out before the house of cards collapses. We'll be good. But that's good. We need some bullish crime. You know, I haven't seen like a real front runner of a crime syndicate this cycle. I mean, like there's no 3AC, there's no Alameda. I guess we technically have like the pump fund guys, but that's not really bullish crime. That's super bearish crime. Like, where's the real bullish crime this cycle? Do we even have like a front runner of bullish crime this cycle?
Not yet. I think that's because VCs haven't had as much incentive to participate in the market. I mean, they kind of did in 2023. And then obviously that dried up a lot when they saw that these high FDV tokens there wasn't quite the fuel to pump them, which is why we had the whole meme coin super cycle, trademarked, of course. But yeah, no, I think with rate, it really comes down to rate cuts. And I know some people have talked about this before, but when you think about how important rates are for private equity, to me, it's like brain dead obvious that now that money is going to be cheaper to, borrow and just in general, they're probably going to see more speculative excess throughout the market. And I also think as well, people are underestimating the impact that being able to borrow against your equity positions is going to have on the market. Because I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to have these parties that are suddenly so margin rich after the last few years of bullish price action in stocks that they're going to be able to borrow against that at low interest rates and probably buy these effectively lottery tickets through crypto, which is super high beta. They won't have to touch their maybe they do sell positions to fund these, but I just think in general, like if we're talking about rates really coming down, people are probably going to borrow money, and then maybe they're selling their equity positions at the same time, but they're going to be able to take these cheaper upside bets through crypto and altcoins.
No, that's a really good point, Tommy. Like the effect that cheap margin is going to have on shitcos and shitcoins alike is huge, right? And the thing is, this cycle is materially different in that traditional brokers are now going to offer margin for these crypto ETFs, in which didn't even exist last cycle. So it's like you don't really even have to take the margin out of your broker, put it in the bank, then transfer it to Coinbase. You can just go buy a Bitcoin or ETH or Sol ETF directly on your TradFi brokerage, right? Those flows are going to be crazy. It's all going to be debt, man. It's all debt. You're right. It's cheap debt. And Trump was calling for a 300 point cut this morning. Did you guys see that?
No.
Oh,
300 point cut this morning.
are you
man.
serious?
I mean, he's just talking shit to Powell, I think. But
yeah,
he was literally calling. He's like, he's like too late is costing us $650 billion per point per year. Like our rate should be at least 300 points lower than they are right now. You know, I'm like, dude, could you imagine like an overnight 300 point cut? Like if he gets Powell out and replaces him with a puppet, and we don't get a 25 basis point cut or 100 points, we get a 300 point cut. What would even happen there, bro? Like what do you like?
I think
A 300-point cut.
they would cause a panic. It would sell off, and then it would rip
Wait,
immediately the next week to new highs.
You know what happened is this what happened? IWM would go insane. That's what would happen.
I feel like if we're going to get rate cuts here pretty soon, Powell probably does capitulate and cut a little bit, but the real rate cut move will happen when the new Fed chair comes in the first half of next year. I mean, he's just going to be, I imagine he'll just be a puppet. The next Fed chair. He'll probably just cut rates immediately, if I had to guess.
It's probably very bearish longer term.
Yes.
I don't care. I don't care at all.
Wait, when does the new Fed chair come in? Would it be the first?
No, it's like I think it's May of next year is when Powell's set to be out. But I have a feeling they're going to get him out before. There's only so much ridicule and bullying that a man is going to take before he just says, you know what, fuck this. I'm worth $100 million. I'm out. You know what I mean? Powell's not going to sit there. And here's the thing about Trump's. Okay, here's the thing about Trump. When Trump gives a nickname and Trump gets you in his crosshairs, whether it's true or not, the nickname sticks. The legacy sticks. Trump has a way of tarnishing somebody's multi-decade long career in a matter of minutes. And for whatever reason, it sticks. Dude, Pocahontas. Who am I talking about? You all know who I'm talking about, right? Sleepy Joe. What did he call Jeb Bush? Like low energy Jeb or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like he just body bags these people. He just takes a person and just body bags them. There's no better schoolyard bully than Trump. And I'm like, Powell is not going to sit there forever and just let like his legacy get completely tarnished, by Trump. And dude, here's the thing is like, we're all turning against Powell. We were all big Powell fans, and now we're all like too late. Powell cut rates, like we're all siding with Trump, whether we want to admit it or not. Like we were all like, wow, Powell did a great job. We actually got a soft landing, and now everybody's against Powell, right? Everybody's against him. So it's like he's not going to make it full term, bro. He's out. Like Trump is only every single day I see a new headline about Trump commenting on Powell. Every single day, man. He's not going to put up with it much longer. He's out.
I feel like Powell probably thought the economy would weaken much sooner than it did. And now that it hasn't, I think he doesn't want to be the guy that causes or that gets the blame pinned on them for inflation inevitably surging back up later this decade. But at the same time, if you keep rates this elevated for much longer, you will break the economy. And there's just not really a need to do that right now because it's like you said, Max, it seems like we have achieved a soft landing. Inflation is down significantly from where it was in 2022.
And unemployment jumped down as well.
Yeah.
And obviously some of these numbers can be, tweaked a little.
Tweaked a little.
No, Jacket, what are you implying? No.
I mean, maybe that's why they're not cutting is because he knows that the numbers aren't as good as they've been reporting.
What are you guys implying? What are you implying that the numbers we've been given by our elected and appointed officials is not 100% truthful? What are you saying, you guys? That's horrible. My leaders would never do that.
They're always so honest.
Dude, there's no Epstein list, okay? And he did kill himself. That was the official what are you guys saying? You know, it's crazy what you guys are saying right now, man. It's round.
It's round.
It's round.
It's round. It's a sphere, okay?
Where's the meme, bro? Where is Oh my god. Where was Jackus on that meme?
I was making it.
Were you on it though?
Yeah, I was.
Pull it up real quick.
That's an incredible meme.
No, I mean the bell curve one.
Wait, which one?
Oh, you're talking about moving averages?
No.
Because I remember that bell curve meme.
Well, we did that one, but the pancake one.
Oh, I do. I don't think I have that one saved actually.
I was saying, were you on that meme?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Were you on the far right?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't think we actually made it in a meme. I think we just like talked about it, but
Oh, hold on. Let me see.
hold on.
Hold on.
Nvidia just hit 4 trillion market cap.
No, what's it at price wise right now?
163.
163.
Wouldn't that be like 1,600 a year ago?
Yeah, they did I think 10 to 1 or whatever. Can you
I completely forgot about that stock split.
Flecker, pull up Nvidia, bro. We need to see the failed distribution once again.
I completely forgot they did like what the price was before the stock split. So clearly it worked.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's the point.
It was
Can
the
you zoom out a little bit?
It's a feature, not a bug.
Dude, they
Literally.
just keep calling top on Nvidia, and then it just keeps ripping, man.
Wait, where was? Oh,
Where
this.
have I seen that before?
This was the $100 right here,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just.
What does the Bitcoin Nvidia pair look like? Have we checked on that recently, given today's new market cap?
Wait, do I do it? Is it market cap or is it?
No, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
I really don't think there's a more bullish high time frame signal than the market's leader for like 2 years ripping back into price discovery and violating a potential distribution.
Yeah, I would agree.
There it is. That's it.
Ooh, too early, Tucker.
Too early.
Always too early.
Always.
It looks like it's
Always too early.
147. Yeah, that's probably a bit optimistic. Should have been at least that, but geez, still sideways. What was this even based on?
Halvings.
Halvings, yeah, halvings. Damn, this really should probably be thrown out, right?
I mean, it kind of looks like the 2016 bottom a little bit.
Yeah, it's all.
What was the day? Like, how many days from the halving until it peaked?
The near chart.
Till it peaked.
Yeah,
Man, that's more like girlfriend. He's probably thinking about other women. Jack is. I have to create this perfect meme, man.
518.
Oh, we better get on our horse quickly.
Yeah. I mean, this one
I
was
mean,
for sure.
it kind of looks like the near chart. If
The
you know.
near chart?
Yeah, like that 3 drive distribution into downtrend. We should be. I don't know if it's going to go to new highs against Nvidia, but we should be in store for some sort of like echo bubble soon.
Mm-hmm.
This is the longest cycle.
Yes, it is.
What do you guys make of #pump?
What?
Oh,
Mhm.
pump
You know,
token.
Pump Fund's new token or whatever.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm titling it the final extraction. That would be the title of the movie when it hits.
I don't
theaters.
think there is much to extract. Maybe like $10 or something is left in the trenches.
It's never enough until they're at zero, Jackus. That's what you don't understand. They need everybody at zero.
I think it's
I think it's
I
this.
feel like it's mostly for people who missed the meme coin cycle entirely. Like a lot of the people in the round, I feel like it's basically just going to be pump fund people dumping on whoever in crypto is dumb enough to ICO money, plus VCs and maybe a handful of TradFi people. I'm kind of surprised Sol didn't dump off the pump fund news the other day. To me, that's signal that it's probably about to move higher. But I still think we're going to see some weakness on Sol relative to ETH, probably relative to Bitcoin too. But yeah, I would say the narrative of extraction is probably closer to the end than it is the beginning. I know a lot of people want, or they're prophesizing that pump fun is going to send every Sol coin to zero. I would say that extraction's probably already occurred to a large extent. So narrative is maybe outpacing reality a little bit.
One more sweep of the lows.
Just one more, you know.
Just one more little sweep. That's it. Just a little sweep. Just a little tiny baby sweep.
I mean, but back here, right, you never lost like a low, you know. So
Just one more. Just one. This time is different. Just one more sweep. Come on. You know you want to sweep it. Just one more.
One last right. One last sweep of the world.
Dude, that would be a good like parody like crypto short. Would be like a Vin Diesel episode where instead of like one last ride, he's just always like one last sweep of the low. You just spin it off from there.
Yep.
If only somebody were doing something like that, like an animated, I don't know, that'd be interesting.
Only.
Max, you're driving yourself crazy, bro. Dude, I lost my mind a long time ago. This is nothing new. All right. This is nothing new. But here's the thing is I'll be here for 20 years waiting for Andy and Pepe and Wolf and Brett to pump. I don't care. You can't get me to sell. I'd rather them go to zero than sell. That's what you don't understand about me. There's no going anywhere. I don't care how long it takes. I'll move the goalpost every single day until they pump, and then I'll claim victory, and it's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, don't even worry about it.
I think they want Litecoin, Max.
They want Litecoin? Oh, they're really bored then, man. That's crazy. To request Litecoin.
They didn't have enough of the range. They want more.
They want more.
7 years.
Man, are they going to gap NVIDIA up?
Please just pump my vaporware. That's all that I want. Please just send my vaporware already.
There is lots of people in this chart, by the way.
That chart is pain. If we think that ETH is pain, that chart is pain.
Yeah.
Imagine being a Litecoin maxi. At least ETH will scam a little bit. This chart just does nothing,
I mean, you are at the same price as you were in 2017.
And then all of them are coping by drawing like a range across the two peaks, being like, this is one giant accumulation, 5K next. It's like, nah, it's probably just going to go to like $500 and then sell back off again. But
$500, that's very generous.
If Litecoin makes an all-time high, I'm obligated to sell absolutely everything.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. Why does that kind of look like the VIX to me?
This?
Just like spikes and then it just gets crushed for like 4 years and then spikes again.
It's your sign of impending doom.
Like
Maybe
not
it's the-
really, but a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the inverted VIX, so that when Litecoin pumps, you sell it all, versus when VIX pumps, you buy it all.
Jackus, do you not think a Litecoin ETF is going to get the bankers salivating?
There is no need for Litecoin.
No, there's really not.
Does anybody care about Litecoin at all? Like there's no like if you're into like proof of work networks and your big case is like, oh, Litecoin is like a faster Bitcoin. It's like, well, then just buy Caspa or like one of the new fast proof of work networks. Why would you buy Litecoin? You have Bitcoin, which is your time tested store of value. And if you're looking for proof of work speed, there's better options now. What are we even talking about? I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just like, what are we talking about here? Charlie Lee dumped he full stack cheated. He's out.
What if he started buying again?
Still doesn't matter. Bad tech. It does.
You know, I don't hate the Litecoin
some
chart.
to-
Be
Can we look at
honest.
some totally random chart like LTC longs on Bitfinex?
What is
that a real metric?
LTC Bitcoin look like?
Should be like LTC USD longs, maybe. If you type longs.
If you
Dude,
just type in
LTC
long,
LTC
oh my God, it's on
BTC
Bitfinex.
LTC BTC Tommy looks fried, bro. Dev pulled the liquidity. Terrible.
Let me see.
I mean,
Because I think if you are bullish on Litecoin, you need LTC BTC to actually pump, or it looked like XRP did before, you know, it popped off. Nobody was positioned for that rally, but it was telegraphed on the Bitcoin pair. Obviously, that was something Jack has talked about a lot. But yeah, LTC BTC is kind of like, it'll pump someday. I have no idea when.
why does that look
Probably,
like
probably
Caspa?
not much. You know, the thing is that it doesn't even have to pump to the break even of people.
Yeah. How do we feel about Sol BTC here? Think we're good, or you think we need to do a little?
I think it can give a reversion move. I don't think it's going to break the that April or May high, but I think it'll probably give you a push up one more time before it comes into the eventual bottoming range.
I think it needs to perma-bleed.
I mean, I'd love if this pair perma bled. I think Sol has enough PMF at this point that it's probably not just going to bleed out for eternity, but I feel fairly certain that this pair is going to go lower, probably before a little bit higher first.
Does anybody know what PMF is? Or am I the only one?
For the boomers here, what is PMF?
Product market fit.
Dude, there's no way that anybody knew what that meant. There's not a chance.
I did not.
I heard that and I was like, I'm not even going to pretend to play it off like I know what you just said. Furthermore, that's the first time I've ever seen anybody abbreviate that. I've never heard of that before.
FYS. FYS.
What does that mean?
Fuck your shortcuts.
You guys just aren't as zoomer as me, clearly.
I got one for you. OMSOTI or OMSOTL.
One more sweep of the lows, man.
Yes.
Oh,
fuck that. Say that one more fucking time. One more time.
OMSOTL. One more sweep of the lows. All ETH needs to do is just one more sweep of 1800 and then we're good. That's it. We're fine.
Just one more sweep of the low and then up only.
Well, I think Sol BTC needs to downtrend for a little longer. I still think there's going to be a gigapump on Sol BTC at the end of this cycle. But I think the end of this cycle is still very far away. I think it's like at least 1 year away from now, if not longer. And I think Sol BTC is kind of going to downtrend till then.
I think so too. I feel like, given the context that we just laid out, like it kind of feels almost as if, and I know this is something we've talked before about, Jackus, but like we had our cyclical reset already.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it was in August, or you could say it was, it started in August for a lot of altcoins, but really kind of climaxed a few months ago. I think we're back into the point where, okay, it makes sense for fundamentals now to go before meme coins, at least when we're talking about the end game, right? Their final rallies, their parabolic moves. I'm sure there will be some meme coins that are an exception to this. But I think for that breadth of meme coins that we saw in 2024, you won't see that again until probably the very end.
But my memes will be okay though, right, Tom?
I think there will be a handful of meme coins that still do really well. Like
my memes are better
I don't
than
care
your
about
memes.
anybody else's meme coins, just my meme coins. So as long as my meme coins do well, then that's fine.
Oh my god.
I mean, more so for like these soul memes specifically. I think the soul meme coins like Popcat, Whiff, they're not gonna come back until the very end of the cycle.
What does Whiff look like, bro? I haven't charted Whiff in so
comes
long.
back at all, honestly.
I admire Jackus's disdain for the dog with a hat.
To give Jackus credit, he was the first one to just get like super publicly bearish on Whiff. He was like, "This is a stupid meme. It has a stupid hat. Like it's gonna nuke," and then it just nuked.
It's just
a dog with a hat.
I could see it pumping again, honestly, but just as more of a result of like the whole asset class pumping. I think its outperformance days are probably behind it, but I could see it pump.
Put on EOS chart.
Oh no.
Man.
Oh no, Jackus.
Are you trying to tell me Popcat's not coming back either?
Is there more history? Probably.
Yeah, you need to go EOS USD and put in the index chart.
Oh
my god.
Oh,
you need to study this chart. And then look at Wave and yeah.
My investments are with good puppies. They will come back.
Tommy, how terrible do you think the VIX looks right now?
Probably just awful. It looks so bad I took it off my watch list.
The VIX looks just awful, bro. Just so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I could still see like an August spike on it, but I think in general, you're just going to like the best case, you're just kind of going to get these spikes into 20 that just get sold off. But I don't know. I'm really not bullish on the VIX. I'd only be bullish on the VIX if you're above 22 or 23.
Yeah, it does not look great. It would need some time to look constructive at all.
Well, and look at what happened with the VIX after COVID. I mean, yeah, it had the spikes, but I mean, it just perma-bled. Even through 2022, when you had the spikes into like 35 and 40 for that bear market. I mean, we didn't get a true VIX spike again for 4 years.
I just found something. Copper just spiked to new all-time highs.
Really?
Yeah. I saw that making a deal with copper. Or like something related to that.
Oh
wow.
Uh-oh.
What the?
Seems there's a 1618 there, boys.
Usually when copper goes up, that's positive for the stock market and risk in general. So,
Why did that just happen, Jackus? Do you know?
well, first of all, it's the decade of commodities. And I think it's going to pump a lot fundamentally. Probably, companies are expecting lots of new orders, lots of economic activity, and could be hedging themselves to the upside.
So that was last night at 11, I think. What's that last night? No.
By the way,
11.
wait. Imagine that copper is more interesting than crypto market. That's why we joined this space.
You're not here to trade copper futures?
I'm here to trade Ether. Going sideways for 1 year and a half.
We will never have another alt season. You guys know what chart just haunts me in my nightmares?
A few of them, for me at least.
I mean, all of them, but no, not this one. Not this one. This is going to rip, though. That thing looks so bullish. Like, we are closing July at the all-time high. Yes,
Pepe?
That's
Yeah, I was just gonna add that the chat is saying that Trump imposed 50% copper on tariff. Sorry, 50% tariff on copper, but not sure if that's a meme or if that's a reality.
That's a problem when we can't figure out if it's real or fake because it's so neurotic and random.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, by the way, Pepe is closing July at the all-time high. This thing is gonna rip any second. But the chart that haunts me is tether dominance. That's the dude. That is the most talk about Chinese water torture, man. It just refuses to break down, man. It just sits there forever. It never moves.
Can I call bottom on a chart without
better
people
be
getting
this
upset?
one. What?
What?
I said it better not be this one.
Oh, it's not that one. I don't really chart USDT dominance that much. I'm gonna call bottom on Matic.
Oh.
Why would you do that?
Why would I do that? Because it's the bottom, Jackus.
What did they
What is
rebrand
that?
to?
We're seeing
What did
some
they-
volume come in.
Wait, this
Did
is
someone
I think
fat
this is
finger that?
bottom.
Is that a real wick?
Wait, is there a different ticker now? What's going on here? Okay, yeah, it is a real wick, it looks like.
What is the?
Wow.
Yeah, the rebrand is to Poly, right?
Yeah, our poll.
Paul or
Oh, I
something.
don't
Bottom
surely help
on
things.
this chart.
You think she's bottomed?
I do.
Paul USDT.
I'm summoning the ghost of the eBay fractal that we've been watching for Matic for probably 2 years and calling the bottom.
Let me
on
see
that.
your object tree, Tommy.
I don't have it on my object tree anymore. I was looking at it yesterday though, and I'm pretty sure it's completed that final drive down now. I don't think that you should realistically bet on it for like huge outperformance, but I do think that it's probably bottomed now. And we'll
I thought of the meme with Adam Sandler. Be like, let's bet on this. Let's fucking bet on this shit. Oh man.
I'm pretty sure this is bottomed. I really feel like the context that we've outlined, the context that we've outlined on today's show for these VC alts, and let me know how you guys feel about this. The emissions for VC alts are now less of a deterrent than perhaps all of these Bitcoin sellers that we're seeing right around the current prices. Most of these coins have fully emitted and fully diluted Meanwhile, Bitcoin seems to have unlimited sellers.
It seems like every single time there is some new wallet that wakes up around 110K.
I mean,
But-
yeah, it's kind of like that whole meme from the Bitcoin message boards that if you ever get to 100K, we're just dumping on the bankers, and you have billions of Bitcoin bought every day, and price is not going up. It will go up eventually, I think, mostly from like short squeeze. But yeah, I mean, at what point do we say the risk reward for these alts that have fully emitted their supply is now not nearly as bad as it was, especially relative to Bitcoin, which everybody talks about how it has a limited supply, but it doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it is. I mean, are they printing Bitcoin and just shorting it? Is that what Coinbase and BlackRock are doing, or what?
It's very possible that's what
I
they're doing.
think they are,
Like
bro.
paper Bitcoin.
The New York dump is getting retraced back up.
That felt like bait.
Yeah, it did.
Dump on
Just-
the European buyers. Pump it up after. Have you noticed that, Jackus? I feel like we're seeing a lot of like lower time frame tops during like towards
Yeah.
the end of London session.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
New
York Open.
Open is definitely lots of fuckery.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to do
No.
ape time. We should definitely do ape time near New York Open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are gonna get liquidated so fast, though. Oh my god, it's gonna be so fun. I'm thinking about like if you tried to trade the moves this morning on something like Sol.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, yeah, on high leverage, people are getting just carted out. But I like the way Bitcoin's just kind of slow grinding higher while simultaneously holding market structure, or the lows rather, and chopping out top longers systematically.
Yeah. Well, because there's plenty of people trying to bet on a leverage on the breakout, right? So the good way to shake those people out is by constantly sweeping the high, then doing a dump that doesn't really go anywhere and going sideways. So that, as usual, spot is going to win while leverage longs lose interest lots of the times.
Well, if this stream is an indication, I think longs are at their wits' ends. If you've been trying to consistently long resistance, you're probably ready to rip your hair out.
But hey, guys, if you want to help this breakout finally, just open up a 100x short. Trust me, the breakout is going to come sooner than you think.
It's your patriotic duty. Don't get. I'm kidding. Please don't get liquidated. At least wait until ape time. Oh man.
All right, guys, do we go to the lean hawk futures?
I think that's probably a good spot to wrap the stream up. Although we'd be very appreciative if you guys could hit the like button. I haven't looked at it at all today. I hope it's not too low. It probably is. We're in a bear market for likes, but someday that will change. We will remember the guys who consistently rounded up the rest of the comments to hit the likes. But thank you if you already have. We appreciate y'all's support on this show. As always, a reminder that Market Check is live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the same time. As always, we typically start around 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard. So if you enjoyed the content today, we'll be back on Friday. And then another reminder that we have ape time with with many faces on this current panel. It's a little bit more of a lower time frame show. We have a lot of fun, a little bit of degeneracy here and there, but we know that you guys are going to love the show. and we're going to keep making it, I think, more and more entertaining as we feel out the best ways to do it. So tune in for that as well. That's tomorrow at the same time that Market Check would typically go live. But yeah, I mean, oh yeah, Market Talk with King Wabi. What am I saying? Market Talk with King Wabi is also live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. That is an X Spaces. Wabi does a great job on those shows. And I mean, let's be honest, like they've been very on point as far as market directionality for a few months now. So definitely make sure to tune in for Market Talk as well. But yeah, we hope that you enjoyed the show. Like I said, we'll be back on Friday. But until then, guys, thank you again, as always, for tuning in. And before we run, going to play a clip of BB Terminal. But I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed, there have been some pretty big updates to the BB Terminal here over the last 48 hours. If you haven't accessed your terminal or you haven't gotten your foot in the door yet, I highly, highly would recommend it. We just rolled out our DGen page, which is basically a significantly upgraded deck screener, but we're going to continue to add even more functionality on top of it. So I definitely recommend checking that out, guys. The product looks great. The tool is very useful. And ultimately, that's the biggest thing that you need, right? A tool that actually has utility to help you conquer these markets. But thank you guys again. That concludes today's show. But yeah, we'll see you guys on Friday. Unless you're here for ape time, then we'll see you tomorrow. But thanks again, guys.
Tired of outdated trading tools, confused charts, dozens of tabs, endless stress? You're not alone. Introducing BB Terminal, your all-in-one command center for crypto trading. Track your portfolio, monitor the markets, stay ahead, all in one place. From chaos to clarity, from struggle to success. BB Terminal.